Here's a swell in 1947 that looks like it's peeling from probably way off the top of the point. And it looks like there's no sections on this wave. This point actually looks like the point's kind of pushed closer to the pier back in those days. Probably after the 1938 storm, it pushed out so much debris out here. They say that Ben Marcus has got a picture, some video, not video, but film footage of guys taking off at Third Point on the old redwood planks. And without a section, just a perfect peeling wave, taking off at the top of Third Point, just like it was the top of First Point, all the way through to the pier, with no sections whatsoever. And for those guys to make waves from all the way outside the top on a redwood plank, I mean, this got to be a pretty perfect wave. They weren't doing Kelly Slater slash cutbacks on those redwood planks. And here's this is what it takes to move rock. You need a big storm like this. This is I think in 1995, which was a pretty big flood. And one of the things that Sean Collins talked to me about, he wanted to talk to me about what it takes to move the cobblestones in the surf zone. And the thing that we agreed on is not the yearly rainfall. There might be a year where it has a record amount of rainfall over the course of a whole year. But the most important thing for a flood to affect the surf was the hourly rainfall in a 24-hour period. The more rain, if you got 9 inches of rainfall in the Malibu Creek watershed, that's in a 24-hour period, that's what's going to create the flood, and that's what's going to move boulders down. In 1969, I was on that bridge, the old bridge, and I didn't think it was going to hold up. And it sounded like a bowling alley. There was rocks that seemed like they were, half as big as cars that you could hear up the creek rolling down. It sounded like a bowling alley. They were just crashing over. You could hear certain boulders that had a certain sound to them. And you could hear it coming down the stream toward the bridge. And you hear it going under the bridge, and you run on the other side, you could hear that boulder going out to sea. It was amazing. Within minutes, there was boulders heading down into the ocean. And one of the other things that we found, that he found in his data, he went back and looked at the tidal charts during those floods. And he found that the two most significant floods, 1938 and 1969, those floods peaked at a minus low tide during a full moon or a new moon. Now this flood, it was a big flood, but it might have, I haven't researched this, but it might have happened during a half moon where the tides were moderate. They weren't low tides. So it's not just rainfall amounts, it can be the tide. The lower the tide, the further out the force of and the power of the flood is going to be able to push rock further out to sea. And it did that in 1938, and it did it in 1969. Let's see, this is...
In 69, we got 18 inches of rain in about 18 hours.
Yeah, that was insane. The reason I was on that bridge in 1969 is because my friend's dad took us down, and we couldn't get out of Malibu because it rained really hard. All the canyons were closed, so we were stuck in Malibu during that. So the big kind of cool thing was to go down to the bridge and look at this raging torrent. It was amazing. And every time it rains, I go down. I can't. Stephanie will tell you, like, where are you going? I gotta go down and look at the creeks, man. It's raining really hard. This is one day that this golf course here is going to be kind of an extension of this. It may not be water, but it's going to be cool to have habitat back in this area instead of, I don't know, maybe golfs there once a month, maybe.
That's a whole nother slide presentation.
1949, I wish